Hi everyone, today we're covering Facebook stock and why Facebook stock is going to go to $300 as a long-term investment. And as always, if you could smash that like button, that'd be absolutely amazing. Now previously I made a few predictions before. I said previously Facebook would go to $250 and it's kind of nearly there. I made a similar one with Alibaba and Pinterest not so long ago, and I made one with Microsoft a while back saying that one will going to go to $150, and it managed to get there. Now Facebook is a stock that I own, and I have two portfolios, one on DeGiro, one on Trading 212, and my DeGiro portfolio is up 50% and my Trading 212 is up 41%. So already I'm up on a nice position on Facebook, and for a long time on this channel, I think for the last year and a half, I've been saying that Facebook is the best undervalued stock on the stock market where you'll get the best return, and I've been recommending Facebook as a number one buy for about the last year and a half. Previously that was Microsoft, and I think I'm up like 78% on Microsoft, but eventually that valuation got quite expensive and Facebook was still a very cheap valuation, and I was saying Facebook is an amazing buy right now, and anything below 180 I was kind of buying quite heavy. I think under $180 Facebook was an absolute bargain, and that's where I started to buy quite heavy. Now the stock has gone up quite a bit. It is now a $234 stock, so it is on a good run. So potentially I would say that if you are looking to get into Facebook, maybe if you can wait for a little bit of a pullback, it might be worth it. I definitely buy this stock under $180. Whether or not it will get back down to them sort of prices, then you might miss the boat slightly. But if it does, then obviously it's a massive bargain at them sort of prices. But it is a bit more expensive at $234 right now. And when we look at the stock chart, the stock always has a couple of pullbacks now and then. Obviously one of the big ones a few years back was the Cambridge Analytica kind of scandal that we had. Obviously it pulled back quite a bit there. But every so often the stock does pull back, and it is trading at a P of 33 right now. But obviously that's got a little bit of coronavirus numbers in there. I mean, if the stock wasn't affected by the coronavirus, we'd be talking about a stock that was probably around about a 20p. I think before it all, it was like a 22p. So it's a very, very cheap stock at 22p, because when you compare that P to a lot of other kind of stocks that are in this industry, a lot of other companies in the tech sector that has the growth that Facebook has, even like Microsoft for example, you're paying like a 30p for that. Something like an Adobe, you're paying a 50p. Amazon, obviously Amazon has a bit more of a diverse portfolio and a lot more growth, but even for that one, you're talking nearly an 80p for that one. So Facebook always kind of got disrespected as a tech company. I think there was always that kind of like not having that much trust with the company, with a lot of like leaks that it does have. But with Facebook, you're going to have, because they have that much data. I mean, in Facebook alone, I think they've got nearly over a 1 billion amount of users. There's always people trying to get that much data, and they're handling that much data. There's always going to be a couple of errors, and obviously Facebook, with the amount of cash they had, they always got fined quite heavy, because they could put a lot of heavy fines on a company like this because they had so much cash. And Facebook did a good job of trying to tighten all the security up. It's why the EPS got hurt and why the P isn't as good as what it was only last year, because it did invest a lot of profits into improving that security on the site. And in the long run, that should really benefit Facebook and, you know, have a better reputation for handling a lot of that data. Now with this company, it is a growth company. It offers fantastic growth. Looking forward, it looks like it's going to have about a 20% EPS growth, about a 20% revenue growth. So it's even better than double digit growth. To be putting in 20% growth numbers is fantastic. And this is kind of backed up with the past performance on this company. When you look at the past performance, Facebook has a fantastic past performance as well. Now when we take a look at the balance sheet is absolutely amazing. I'd go as far as saying it's probably one of the best, if not the best balance sheet that's out there. I think at the moment it's holding something like 60 billion in cash, which is a lot of money. So you think about Facebook, you know, they've got a lot of cash there. They've only just started doing, you know, buybacks of shares, which is kind of crazy to think about. It doesn't pay dividend, but with all that cash building up, it has fantastic profit margins. With all that cash building up, and it'll carry on building up, EPS growing as well, revenue growing as well, that balance sheet's only going to get better. And it's like, what does it do with that balance sheet now? Does it now go to paying a dividend? Is it going to go buy a company? You know, we've seen it before. It got Instagram at an amazing price. I I think it bought Instagram at like 1 billion or something. It was dirt cheap, and that company is now valued over 100 billion, which is a fantastic purchase. Obviously, it's bought WhatsApp before, so Facebook has the potential to either up them buyback programs, which will help us as an investor for that share price to go up, or it could pay a dividend, which might attract some dividend investors into it, or it could go aggressively buy out another company, which it hasn't done for a while, but I think it'd be really good if it did. There's some fantastic companies out there that it could add into its income streams, so that's another option that Facebook has right now. So that amazing balance sheet comes from 4 things. It has 4 apps, the standout ones. Obviously the Facebook app, which obviously everyone kind of knows it as, but also it owns Instagram. Few people don't realise that it actually owns Instagram, and Facebook was kind of like for the cool kids back in the day, and then eventually everyone kind of went on Facebook, and then a lot of the kind of younger generation moved to Instagram, and Instagram has really exploded right now. I would say that Instagram has the potential to actually overtake Facebook, and Instagram was doing really well, and then just to top it off, it had the competition of Snapchat, and it thought, what can we do to kind of match this Snapchat? And it thought, we're going to steal its ideas of its story, added it onto Instagram, and that kind of killed off that competition as well. As well as that, it has Facebook Messenger, which it did a really good idea of separating that from Facebook and having it as a separate app. And as well as that, it has WhatsApp, which is absolutely huge in Europe especially. So with these 4 apps, it's absolutely fantastic. Now where it makes its money is a lot of advertisers can go onto these platforms and advertise. In fact, some of these platforms, WhatsApp, aren't even monetized that well yet, so there's still a lot of growth there. But it makes a lot of its money from ad revenue. So companies come onto Facebook and they advertise on Facebook. Now previously, a lot of money went on TV adverts, newspaper adverts, a lot of that kind of media, but now we're seeing the transition. We had Google, and now we're seeing the transition onto Facebook. Now from an advertiser's point of view, I think Facebook is the best platform to advertise, because Facebook controls that much data. They know what you like, they know what age you are, not what gender you are. You don't get that with traditional advertising platforms. With this, advertisers can target to the audience that they want, which means that you're willing to pay a little bit more money to kind of get that advertisement to the area that you want to get to. And as well as that, from an advertiser's point of view, when you advertise on Facebook, you can click on their link and it takes you directly to the product. You can't do that when you're watching TV. And as well as that, it's very hard to avoid the adverts. A lot of like other things, you can kind of skip past them. With Facebook, you either have to kind of like watch the advert to get to where you want to like carry on a video, or you have to scroll past it, so your eyes kind of like clocking advert, scroll past. So you're still going to clock onto the advert that way. And as well as that, as an advertiser point of view, is that you can actually click on the advert to go to the like advertisers page. So let's say it was Nike that are advertising a product, you can actually click on the Nike Facebook page, like it, and then the advertiser keeps you in like all advertising loops going forward. So from an advertiser's point of view, it's a fantastic platform. And from Facebook kind of view, that's attractive to advertisers that want to get that kind of target audience that they want as well. So it's a win-win scenario. Now for so long, a lot of major advertising companies kind of disregarded Facebook and didn't kind of use it, and now there's a lot more competition starting to come on. If there's a lot more competition starting to come on to Facebook, what Facebook can do is they can kind of increase that ad rate, and that's what's happened. A lot of brands are now putting a lot more money into their online advertising on like social media sites, and because of that, Facebook have put the prices up, and we have more major brands that are willing to pay more money to beat the other competition. So it's a win-win scenario for Facebook right now. Now this advertising cost is going to carry on increasing, so it's going to be fantastic for Facebook going forward. More and more budget is going to get pushed to Facebook, Instagram, them kind of platforms for advertising. So especially right now when advertising budgets are getting cut, more and more focus are going to go to the more effective advertising platform, which is Facebook, and Google as well. I do like Google as well. So you've kind of got these 4 amazing platforms that you can advertise on. Now, working away in the background, there's actually a team in Facebook that are employed to make new ideas for Facebook to kind of make it more income streams. Facebook know that they can't rely on the same income streams. That's why Facebook went to go by Instagram, by WhatsApp, and why they split off Messenger. Facebook have a really good management team that know they can't keep these income streams that they have, they need to keep expanding them income streams. So they actually have a team that come up with new ideas every month about something they can do to have more income streams. So some of these things that they've created over the last year are Hobby, which was a competition to Pinterest. It also had Facebook Shops, which is a competition to Shopify, an e-commerce for sellers. So Facebook Shops is kind of getting going as well, and I think that has massive potential as well with Facebook Shops. So it has that. It also has Messenger Rooms, so it's seen the success that Zoom's had recently, and they created Messenger Rooms, so we'll see how that one goes. So this team has created a lot of ideas like this. So Facebook is going to carry on making new platforms, and eventually, if they carry on making platforms, one of these is definitely going to kick off huge. So that's a really good thing that they're kind of not relaxing, and they're still trying to carry on expanding that revenue income stream, as well as the potential that they might actually go and buy another company as well. So you kind of got that side and the kind of side of buying out another company. So Facebook is definitely not resting on what it's already built. It's looking to expand it even more from here, which is a great thing as an investor. So overall, my opinion with Facebook is it's a fantastic company. You're getting some a cheap valuation compared to a lot of other tech stocks. You've got some great growth here. You've got a fantastic balance sheet and a company that's still wanting to expand that growth, which is perfect. So for me, Facebook is a 5-star company. It's definitely a company that I would have in any portfolio that you have. Whatever stage of life you're at, I would definitely recommend Facebook as a buy to have in that portfolio. As I say, it is at $230 right now, which is kind of expensive, and it does have potential to go up even more from here. So I would say that maybe it is potential to just nibble a little bit here, but if the opportunity to come into Facebook comes up, definitely look at buying it. If it gets down to that $180 range again, that's an absolute steal for me. And I think that, like I say, Facebook for me, $300 stock, I would say that it will definitely get there within the next 2 years. So I really like Facebook. It's a stock that is one of my favourite on the stock market. It is my favourite at these sort of valuations. So I am a big fan of Facebook. And if you were looking into Facebook stock, I hope this video was very helpful for you. And as always, smash the like button if you can, guys. Subscribe if you haven't. And I'll see you in the next one.